Okay. Hello. Finally. I apologize for the technical difficulties. I'm using Restream to stream to Twitch and YouTube at the same time, and somehow it logged me off, and I forgot my password. Had to reset the password. It took I did not expect that to happen. So maybe for future reference, I should note that maybe I should come to my laptop sooner. Okay, thank you for joining. Hello everyone. Hello. Salam alaikum. Your rating is 1800. Can I arrive to 2100? If you are Paul Morphy, then yes, you can. It depends on a lot of details. How old are you? How talented you are? Whether you can work on chess on every day. Many questions to be answered there. All right. So the game I will talk about today would be, did LcZero refute Najdorf? That is the $1 million question, I would say. So you can see on my screen, this is the game we're gonna talk about. Gonna scroll up a little bit. So white LcZero, the most current version, and for black it is Bookfish, and very recent, 2020, May 2020, and 11th of May, the latest version. What does Bookfish means? It means stockfish that is forced to play by a specific book. If you're interested in what kind of book, a friend of mine, Valery, who's hopefully is watching this stream and can correct me if I say something wrong. Let's see, I'm gonna drop the link to the chat right here. That's a link of the book it was using. Hello, Mark. Black organization, thank you. Okay, so this is the game that we're gonna talk about. 30 minutes plus 5 seconds. If you have watched my previous streams about rapid chess or with shorter time controls, Stockfish is usually way better than LcZero with this time control. So that is why I'm actually quite surprised that LcZero crushed it badly. All right, so I'm gonna close this browser now, and we're gonna check the game that I downloaded, and you can see my other screen at the moment now. Let's go down to specifics. So Najdorf variation of Sicilian, quite a famous line these days. On top level you can constantly see this one. And bishop to e2 was never considered. I don't know, have any of you seen on in recent tournaments on high level somebody playing bishop e2? I know how about you, but I did not. How much Stockfish is rating? I don't know, 4,000, 38, 3,900. I'm not sure how can you relate that to human rating, but somehow they do. How do you get your engine? I don't understand the question. You go to stockfishchess.org and you download the newest Stockfish, and then you can create engine at your CPU, at your chess base. All right, wait a second. Why isn't it full screen? You should see it okay, there's something on the bottom. My apologies for that. Anyways, ignore the bottom line of the screen. So bishop e2. White takes it easy. So black goes e5, Najdorf, knight b3. I'm gonna immediately show you that many games were played like this. You can see it on the bottom of your screen. Wait a second, it drives me crazy. I'm gonna fix it. I should be, oh come on. Yeah, I had to make sure that my stream is fine, so I had to, I forgot to adjust. Yeah, no, this one is better now. All right. My face is too big now, but I'm gonna make my face smaller a little bit. Okay, that is better. Sorry for technical difficulties. Bishop to e7, white develops the bishop to e6, castle. So one more thing I forgot to mention. There you go. Stockfish was forced it was still playing by the book until you can see there's no depth, nothing. So it was playing by the book up until move f5. No, f5 it played on its own. It says depth 47. That's like amazing depth. 127 million positions per second, and altogether how many nodes? 5 billion positions it considered and played f5. So f5, it is Stockfish's choice on ridiculously big depths. So that's where Stockfish started playing on its own, but we're gonna check briefly what is this game all about from human point of view. All right. You're welcome to ask any chess-related questions if you want. So knight to d5 was played. Knight to d5 and knight bd7. They were forced to play it, but you may wonder why not take the pawn. I think the main problem is bishop to b6, queen d7, knight c7, and the rook is trapped. Although, as I can see after knight c6 takes, white did win in exchange, but black has a very good center. And black has a decent compensation in this game. Decent compensation, but it didn't happen because they were forced to play it. I can check what Lila was expecting. No, Lila was also forced to play this line. All right. So let's just move to the first critical moment of the game. Bishop takes, pawn takes, knight e8. Well, you may wonder why knight e8. The idea of knight e8 is, first of all, to have bishop g5 exchanging the classical, I would say, bad bishop. Valid Redka says he's confused who's white in this game. LcZero is white and Stockfish is black. Bookfish in this case, but that's as far as I understand, this is a Stockfish just that is asked/forced to play with the book. Wasn't forced to play. Oh, please elaborate, Valery. What does it mean wasn't forced to play? Could it choose the line it is going to play? So there's like a book, and which line stands higher in the evaluation, that one it chooses? Explain, please, how does that work? Lila wasn't forced to play. They are not forced this line. So how do they choose this line? I'm not sure. Please elaborate. I'm more interested in the chess, not the technical stuff behind it, but please explain to me and to the viewers. Thank you. Okay, so the idea of knight e8 is to have bishop g5 to exchange this good bishop for that bad bishop on e7 and to free the f pawn. Because if you look at the center, very often if you just look at the center, you can kinda. That's an elaborate explanation. How come they didn't play all the same line in each game? Explain to me that. Lila placed everything from move 1 and Stockfish was booked. So how come all the games are not the same? I'm not sure why. How come each game Lila decides on different first move? I don't know. Yes, Bookfish was definitely forced to use. That's why the book is in the name. Hello, Mustafa. Okay, so when you look at the center, and if the center is closed, you can tell who's playing where. White has a pawn on d5 and a potential passer on the c file. It seems like a long shot, but at the end, Lila succeeded. And black has pawn majority on the king side, so black is stronger on the king side, so black needs this pawn on f5, and just like in King's Indian, black has to spend extra time to move the knight away to get the pawn into play. Okay, knight e8 and a4. And here Stockfish was on its own. For me, with all due respect to Stockfish, Maxim Vachier-Lagrave played bishop to g5 against Carlsen. I'm sure he analyzed this position with multiple engines, with a team, and came to a conclusion that it's better to exchange the bishop. Why didn't Stockfish do it? Well, the best move for white is a5 and grab more and more space on the queen side. And well, takes, queen takes, and then white tries to push c4, moves the knight, and play b4 and c5. So that could have happened, but Stockfish already on its own chose f5. So we are still in the area of theory here. First moves were forced. Are you will play game? I'm not sure what that means. All right, f5. So from this game, I really like, there's a lot to learn from LcZero in this game. Not so much from Stockfish, with all due respect, or Bookfish. Why did white play f4 now? Why not a move earlier? Why not f4 here? The huge difference is this one. After f5, the moment you push almost any pawn, some squares become inevitably weak. In this particular case, the moment you push this pawn, the king becomes exposed and e6 square becomes forever weak. And now this knight is doing like this and planning to arrive to e6. That is why now it is justified to play f4. So Stockfish decides to go g6, which is a logical move because the pawn on f5 was sort of under pressure. g6, and f takes e5 played by Lila. And here, if I remember correctly, let me check quickly together with you. Let's see this game. You can see on the bottom what lines the engines were considering here. g6. So Lila was considering f takes e5. Oh, my apologies. F takes e5, but Bookfish wanted to play d takes e5 when it played g6. It had plans to take with the pawn, and now it decided to change the plan. You can see it here, right? Bookfish, when played g6, was considering g6, maybe you can see it to the right, f takes e, d takes e, and c4 and queen c7. It was calculating this line. The moment Lila played f takes e, it decided to change to take with the knight. So what's the difference? Well, the huge difference that I just pointed out is after knight takes, this square is a welcome place for this knight, right? If black takes with the pawn, now after c4, it would be extraordinarily difficult to stop these pawns. So Stockfish considered queen c7 in this. Oh, my apologies, sorry. Stockfish considered queen c7 here, but I think these pawns would be unstoppable. For example, white just goes rook e1. Rook f takes e, c4. Rook a to c1, I meant. Rook a to c1. How do black stop c5? Black can try to put a piece there, but that would only help my b pawn come. And if black goes b6, I can give you back the pawn, and if you take it, I just go c5, that's it. Just those pawns would crush black, and this e4 or f4 are not that dangerous because they are not supported by any pieces whatsoever. So this is like a vague human explanation why Stockfish decided to take with the knight. Okay. Yabir Hankosh, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it correctly, writes in Russian that I'm the best human which he saw on YouTube. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. How many Ilias? I'm not sure how to pronounce, apologies. I think the opening is chosen by humans before the engines are left on their own. Yeah, that sounds reasonable to me. Anyways, let's continue. Queen was hanging, so queen d2. Bishop goes to a good diagonal. That's a logical move. c4, white continues with the plan. Queen to e7, officially a novelty from Stockfish. And what I love about this game, how natural and logical all the moves of LcZero are in this game. So white does need to push c5. However, black is very ready. After capture, knight will go to d6. So white says, okay, let me improve my rook first. Rook goes to e1. So it is also interesting to point out when Stockfish realized it was in trouble. So far, the evaluation of both engines in this position is LcZero gives 0.4 and Stockfish gives 0.2. So the game is full of life. Knight f7. I would say that's a weird move. That's a weird move that Stockfish played. How can I explain it? Open the bishop, number one. In case of c5, both knights are ready to come to d6. It is very not logical move. So I can explain all the moves from LcZero. I find it difficult to explain some of the decisions Stockfish made. Sami Daldul says, good evening, I really like how you think from Tunisia. Hello to Tunisia. All right, knight to f7, hard to explain. Knight to d4, very easy to understand. The knight is simply going there. Knight to g7, that's a logical move. Black blocks the square. White finishes the development, rook a to d1, because actually the rook is on e file, which is the only open file in the position, and rook is on d1, because at some moment c5 will happen. Well, maybe black could have tried to prevent it with a5, but it just creates another hole on b5. The rook would be stuck protecting that pawn, and very often white can sacrifice c5 after that with a huge compensation. So the moment where LcZero was right and Stockfish was wrong comes much later in the game. It is very unusual that I would show you the moment why I find it so interesting. Short question: which version of ChessBase are you using here? 15. I don't think there's a 16 one. 15, some newest version of official ChessBase 15. So white is completely ready for action. Rook a to e8. The bishop is attacked. What do? Bishop comes back to f1, and now the X-ray is working. f4. So the trick here is that if takes, I'm guessing bishop takes d4, queen takes d4, queen takes e1, takes, and white would have serious trouble on this open file. So that's why capturing is not good. So bishop moves back to f2, knight comes back to e5. So I really find it hard to explain. Maybe Stockfish anticipated that it needs to push f4. Yes, LcZero's moves seem more reasonable to me. That's there's a term for many years now: computer chess or computer-like move. These are the moves that those engines that will beat the hell out of us when we play them, and we like cannot get our head, wrap our head around it. Like, why the hell did it play it? It's not the case with LcZero. That's why I'm in love is the wrong word. Yeah, that's why I'm a big fan of LcZero. Most of the moves, if not all of the moves, I can explain. And I can understand them, which is more important for a player and for a coach to understand the suggestions from the engine. Otherwise, you cannot, if you don't understand it, how can you teach it to other people if you don't understand it yourself? So LcZero's moves are all just great. Knight went back to e5. I'm guessing Stockfish realized that it needed to push f4, and then it needed this bishop takes d4. That's why it moved the knight and lost 2 tempos. And white simply continues with its plan. b4, bishop to h4. It's a little bit late to exchange those bishops. I think Stockfish should have done it previously in the game, because at least 1 tempo is being lost. And white simply continues with c5. It's so misleadingly simple looking that I cannot even know how to explain it to you. You just push it, you put the rooks to the center. How do you beat Stockfish? In a Najdorf, one of the best openings humans created. How can you beat Stockfish? You just play logical moves. You put the rooks to the center and you push the pawns where they belong. Yeah, I wish it was that easy, but I love the fact that LcZero can just show it. Yeah, you just do it. So what happened next? Knight went to f5. Here, so far, both engines give about half a pawn into white's favor, so the position, the evaluation improved for white. You may wonder, well, why the pawn is hanging here. So the pawn is not really hanging, because if takes, I think I can do this, and take, and now my pawn would be very dangerous, and knight g4 doesn't seem dangerous because knight f3 comes with a tempo and protects everything. And if black takes on f2 first, I would take with the queen, and if d takes, I will not take. I think knight e6 should decide now. Knight e6, if knight takes e6, rook takes e5, there's a pin. So if queen moves, I take on e6. If queen moves to d7, okay, the rook on d1 is not protected. Maybe it's not that straightforward as I thought. I don't see a win after queen d7. It looks horrible for black. I can just take on c5, and so I don't see an immediate win. And if queen goes to d6, what do I do? Maybe I take on e6 and then take on c5. Where's my win? I do not know. Let's see. I'm gonna cheat a little bit. It's been a hard day. I'm a little bit tired. My head is not working. I hope my engine will not screw up my stream. Oh, it's so slow. Oh my goodness, it's embarrassingly slow. Yeah, I wanted to go rook d to e1, but then knight moves. And then just now takes. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I don't need it. I'm still fine. Rook d to e1, I forgot that the pawn on c5 is now supported with the queen. So taking the pawn was not an option. So Stockfish goes with this knight to another weak square in white's position. So it seems like the fight is still going on. Let's see what LcZero did next. That's still not the moment where Stockfish after knight f5 gives 0.18 for black. It says it's fine. And LcZero already gives more than half a pawn to white's advantage. So let's see what happened next. So what do you do when such a knight is coming to e3? It would be horrible if knight arrives to e3. For example, takes and knight e3. That's terrible. So white has to exchange it. Natural? Logical? Yes. Bishop takes f2. Why did it decide to take? Well, I'm guessing because if rook takes, I may take... No, wait a minute. What if rook takes? I thought c takes d, bishop takes f2, queen takes f2, queen d6. That looks fine to me. Why did it decide to take, and take? I do not know. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe the bishops exchange anyway. So takes, rook takes. And what do I do now? What was the long-term plan white was aiming in this pawn structure? Create a passed c pawn. GM Supi says, understand the point you are making, but are too simplistic. Yeah, black moves until that moment are not so strange. Knight f7 looks reasonable for activated black piece with bishop e5 and so on. Maybe bishop e5 was the plan. I can relate to that one. When will I play against Ali Momania? I don't know yet. We'll have to agree on a time and date to fit our schedules. Thank you for asking. All right. Yes, I'm trying to use a simplistic approach to reach more hearts, chess hearts and engine-loving hearts to explain what is going on. Are you going to do Title Tuesday again? Last time it was starting late by Ukrainian time, and there's so much competition and so many cheaters. Not too excited about that, but I do want to play it again because I want to play Nakamura or Caruana. I never played them. I played next to them, but that doesn't count. I want to play against them, at least online, in over-the-board chess, if it returns to life. It's very hard, but maybe in some rapid or blitz world championship one day in distant future. Okay, thank you for asking. So what was the whole plan for white? Create a passed pawn. That's why pawn goes to c6. What is very shocking to me is that when I look at this position, it looks very dangerous for black because rook f8, rook c1. So Stockfish just retreated the rook back to f8. And white simply put, there is nothing to do on d file anymore. Rook on d1 was required, so in case of capture to have d6 move. The d file is firmly closed now. Rook f8, rook simply goes to another open file. And what I find interesting about this position, that LcZero gives 0.6 here. Still not huge advantage because black has a great knight on e5. Strong pawn on f4. Black is dominating on black squares, to be honest. But white is dominating on white squares. And that pawn on c6 is a pain in the neck for black, and it's gonna go forward, and I'm not sure how black can stop it. Black needs counterplay on the king side, but I do not know how to see it. So Stockfish played h5 here. I'm not 100% sure why. I could understand move g5 with the idea g4. I can understand move f3. I do not know why I did h5 here. It doesn't seem that black has enough time to take it slow with h5. Do you do blindfold chess? I haven't done it in years. Can explain the ending situation in a cause? I'm not sure about the question. What is the idea behind the video? Which video? Which video are you talking about? About this one? How to play Najdorf with white, and how can you, with good-looking, understandable moves, you can beat such strong engines as Stockfish. All right, so h5 cannot explain. I can explain the next move for white. You just push the pawn. b6, a takes b. You, of course, take with the pawn to have it b6, c7. Queen goes to f6. What is funny about this one, that after h5, The moment Stockfish played h5, it already gave +1. So I don't know what it was expecting. A fast attack or something? I do not know. White plays h3. That seems, well, very cold-hearted, if that's an expression. And just h3, just a useful move. No knight g4 anymore, because knight g4 was a nasty move to play. Then queen d4 comes, f3 is coming. Just h3, take it easy. Black goes f3, and what I can give to Stockfish is that it can calculate really well. It does calculate really well. Already now, LcZero is still giving 0.6, 0.7, something like this after queen f6. So when Stockfish played queen f6, it already says plus 2.7. I'm completely lost already. I'm going to show it to you in a second. There you go. You can see it, right? So 0.5, 0.5, Stockfish says it's fine, 0.1 on depth 38, you know. Depth 38, to reach depth 38 in such a complex position, it is very hard, believe me. How to play the endgame correctly, Imad is saying. Ending, you're talking about the endgame, yes? Well, most of the games do not reach the endgame, just like this one. The middle game is the most important part of the game, and middle game calculation and tactics is of very high importance. So if you're 1900 player or below, you can click on the link in the description. I created some course on tactics that you are welcome to check, and if you like it, you can learn more about tactical vision and calculation, what I'm using in my calculation. Maybe it can help you become a better middle game and endgame player. Actually, endgame is usually about long calculation. You have to know some stuff, but you have to really calculate carefully and correctly for a very long period of time. All right, 0.1 from Stockfish. How many moves later? One move later, 2 moves later, +1, b5 logical move, a takes b plus 2.6. What it was expecting, not b5? Seriously? So I'm not sure what Stockfish had in mind, and I'm gonna close this one and show you on my board. That's it. Stockfish already calculated, yeah, my attack is not good enough, your pawns are advanced, and I'm screwed here. That's fascinated me. Such easy moves, nothing special, and LcZero just crushes Stockfish. Let's proceed. Queen goes to f4, improving the queen, g3. So there's a big difference between this pawn and this pawn. This pawn from f3 is not going anywhere. The queen is the worst blocker you can imagine, but black cannot even theoretically get rid of it. Knight g4 is not possible, knight d3 is controlled by the bishop. So let's see what happens next. The queen is activated. So from human point of view, it doesn't look like a clear position. But for the engines, well, they are not blundering, usually. So evaluation of LcZero here is more than +2, and from Stockfish is already almost +4. The problem for black is that the pawn on c7 is much more advanced. And it's basically a queen. And there's a bishop in the way, so white can just move the queen. So what is going on? The queen is a horrible defender, horrible blocker. You need to improve it. That's not queen's duty to guard some silly pawn. So what do you do it? You cannot move it because f2 is coming. So what do? You just move the king away. So black improves king g7. I'm guessing black has no clue what to do. Rook goes to b1 with the tempo, kicking the queen away. Queen goes to a3, and now queen is centralized to d4. Because in order to free the queen, you need to protect the pawn on b6, and then queen would be free to go. Queen a3, queen being centralized, king comes back to g8. Next move for white, c7. Very logical, right? Just move the pawn. You have a passed pawn, push it. Very simple rule. Cold-blooded, yeah. Okay. I always blunder pawn endgames. Can you help me? Well, you should study the typical pawn endgames. There are like 5 or 10 positions. And then you just calculate well. Improve your calculation by doing decent tactics. Study tactics and endgames. Thank you, Mark. You answered for me. Grishuk Zhang game from Shanghai 2001 reminds me of it. Sorry, I'm not aware of that game. Maybe I'll check it later. Okay, let's continue. C7, Queen A2, Queen B2, offering queen exchange, and black has to take it apparently, because there's no good place for queen to hide. And now white's king is in perfect safety, and this pawn is forever here. White is simply strategically winning. Rook goes to open file, rook b to b1. Okay. Side note, when I'm not sure if LcZero was using the newest algorithm where I love you too, and Aki says he likes my course on Udemy. Thank you so much. By the way, please like this video. It will go higher when people search chess or chess engines. It doesn't cost anything for you to click on like, to subscribe to my channel and click on the bell. Likes and comments are highly appreciated. Thank you so much. Protect the passed pawn with second rook. No, it wasn't using MLH. Oh, so Valery says it was not using MLH, which means well, very often LcZero, when the position is completely winning, it just does some random moves which doesn't change the nature of the position at all. I think Stockfish would just hit it like this. I think this should be a win. Let's see. Although e4, it's not too obvious to me if that's a win. Did it mess my... No, it didn't mess my translation. Is this a win? Yeah, that's a win. That is a win. So Stockfish would just hit it on e5. Oh, that's the first line of the engine, exactly. So bishop b5, yeah, that's weird. Bishop b5 with idea bishop c6. Okay, so Stockfish is extraordinarily good at finding the fastest win. Okay, I got some comments on Twitch, which I forgot to respond. Hello everyone, the opening phase was decided in advance by humans. Thank you, Mr. Ilias. Okay, so what did happen at the end? Let's see. So rook takes e5 would be the fastest win, but LcZero does this, and now, okay, rook e6, of course. So Stockfish saves the knight temporarily, but this is hanging, king f7, you just take the pawn. Knight goes to c5, you put the rook to open file, g5, you attack another pawn, king g7, you take another pawn, you protect your rook. That's a little bit weird and impractical in my point of view, that rook is stuck, but okay, maybe it can be saved any moment now. Okay, f2, rook to e5, you take another pawn, knight d7, you take another pawn with check. Now you improve your king. I'm not sure why Bookfish was still continuing. I'm not sure what is the resignation policy in this match. Usually at TCEC Championship they have like a rule: if both engines have a valuation above some number for a certain number of moves, then a resignation is automatic. Opening phase was not decided by humans for the LcZero versus Stockfish games. How it was decided? How it was decided. So why not all the games are the same if they are not forced to play some particular line? Or do they say to Stockfish, today you play this first move? Or like, I'm not sure how that works. And that's it. Let's just finish with the game. I just h4 takes. I wouldn't play h4. I don't need the h pawn to win. Anyway, so somewhere here, finally, Bookfish resigned. So to wrap up, what do? You put the knight. You can go queen d3 here, if I remember correctly. Let's see. Yeah, queen d3 is second played move in this position. It transposes anyways. You push a4. If bishop g5, you push a5. Your plan is simple. f5, you meet with f4, and then on next move you immediately take. You clarify the center, and if pawn takes, you quickly push your pawns. If knight takes, you centralize your pieces and then push your pawns. It's so misleadingly easy looking. Yeah, LcZero never plays with any help. Yes, thank you for pointing that out. Antonio says Bookfish was Stockfish using an opening book based on Stockfish evaluations. Aha, thank you. With some randomness, so the games wouldn't all be the same. Thank you. Yes, Mark, chess is very easy. You just play good moves. Don't make mistakes. Yeah. So I'm guessing it was choosing the line from the book that was higher in evaluation, but then still it would be the same game every time. So I'm not sure how, maybe if there are difference, I'm not sure, I'm not gonna manipulate on that. You can see forced move different colors at TCC website. Ah, different color, really? Let me show it to you. Let's see. No, one E4 was a different color, the green one. E4 is green and everything else is blue, but I'm guessing LcZero, that's why it's only one green move, because LcZero was asked to play E4, I'm guessing, and after that LcZero is on its own. That's a weird evaluation here, that's just wrong. And Stockfish is just blitzing out using the book. But the position was not bad. MVL after all played it. It still provides finally a decent evaluation, I'm guessing. Alrighty. So that is what I wanted to show you today. I'm not sure what black players should do differently in this line of Najdorf. A good suggestion is to check MVL's games, Maxim Vashielagraph, if you don't know. Yes, so only E4 was forced. It seemed to me that way too, yes. So I'm not sure what to do for a Najdorf player. So very simple line, bishop E2, queen D3, knight to D5, focus on the queen side. Although it is a little bit dangerous, you have to be very cold-blooded because your king is under a pressure. Okay. Bookfish could choose moves up to 0.06 centipoints worse than the best move. Aha. Okay. I know, that explains it to me. So there's like 2-3 moves within the error. That's fine, it can choose the random one. I see. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your explanation. Wow, I'm tired today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. Please like this video. Subscribe to my channel. It costs nothing to you, and it means a lot to me. Play Caro-Kann. Oh no, I don't think that's the solution. That is a good one. Good one, Mark. Thank you. Okay. Take care, subscribe to my channel. If you want to learn more about tactics, there's a link in the description. You don't have to buy it, you can just click it. There are a few free preview videos. Thank you so much. I hope to do a next video course for Udemy sometime in the nearest future about openings, so stay tuned. Okay. What is harder, GM title or PhD? I got my GM way younger. I'm not sure if that answers your question. I got GM title at 18, 19 and my PhD at 2012, 26, 25. I was 25. Sammy liked and subscribed. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sammy. Okay. Have a good night. It's night here. I'm not sure. Maybe you're watching from US or somewhere. See you. Take care.